Listening to The Sports Nuts.
And good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Sports Corner show. My name is Ralph Williams, along with my co-host by phone, Smokin, Jim Frazier. And we have a great show for you today. I want to welcome you to the Sports Nuts Network. Also, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, and as I mentioned, the Sports Nuts Network. We are also simulcasted on Pensman Sports and Tiger Stripes Media as well. Also, don't forget to check us out on our radio affiliates, 95.5 KFCE in Terrell, Texas, TigerNation.com, Texas, and also Oklahoma, Missouri, 93.3 KJR in Seattle, the Hawaiian Sports Radio Network. I want to say aloha to our Hawaiian friends, and also 107.5 The Ticket in Montgomery, Alabama, and also FM or AM 610 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 105.5 The Roar in Easley, South Carolina, and WGR Radio in Buffalo, New York. I want to thank all those folks for tuning in today to the Sports Corner show. We're here every Tuesday, 4 to 5 p.m., and also across the world, in Africa, Russia. We've been picked up in Australia and several other countries across the world as well, and across the pond. All right, Smokin Jim, how are you today? We'll get to our rants after our guest, Chris Carter, because Chris has a schedule to keep, so I want to make sure we get him on and off. How are you, Smokin Jim?
I'm doing good. Always great to have Chris Carter on. Bro.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, speaking of Chris Carter, we're going to bring him up right now. Chris Carter from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And Chris, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry to hear about what happened with what's going on with the Post-Gazette, the May 3rd thing. But I just found out today that there's a group trying to put it together to buy and keep it going. So we'll see what happens, Chris. But first, how are you and how's everything with you?
Doing great. And beyond even the letter that you saw, there's been a lot of movement behind the scenes. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the things going on, but right. If you're a reader or a fan of the work at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, do not give up hope. Please continue to support us. We are fighting tooth and nail to keep this place open. We have a lot of great reporters, not just in sports, but all across the board. We do a lot of work that's great for our region, and I think a lot of people recognize that. I think the Post-Gazette is far from done just yet. So stay tuned for what we got going on, because there's a lot of great things coming from us, including myself and my work with my partners, Jerry Dulac, Brian Batko, Ray Fittipaldo, and our Steelers reporter.
Paul Zeiss and all them guys. Yeah. Yep. And you know what? I got to give you guys credit. You guys have been very cooperative with my show. You guys are always available whenever I need you. especially Ray Fittipaldo for the Steelers. And then, when I've asked you and Jason Mackey and others to come on, never a problem, never a hassle, never a no, or you know what I mean? So, unlike some others whose names I won't mention. Adam says, hello, guys. Thank you, Adam. And also we have Transformer who says, okay. And there we are. All right. Okay, let's get started. Chris, Pittsburgh or say hello to Smokin' Jim Frazier. He's on the phone here, my co-host. Say hello to Smokin' Jim.
What's up, Jim? How we doing?
Hey, my man Chris, always good to have you on, bro.
Always good to be here.
All right. Hey, Chris, let's get started here. Pittsburgh Steelers have a new head coach, Mike McCarthy. He's putting together a coaching staff right now. I think everybody that's watching right now knows this, but I want your thoughts and feelings on Mike McCarthy. Do you think Smokin' Jim and I think it's the right fit for the Steelers at this time? What are your thoughts?
I think it remains to be seen. We got to see what he does here as a coach. Of course, he's bringing in a lot of experience, 18 years. So, like how with Mike Tomlin, finished, stepped down with 19 years of experience. Mike McCarthy's bringing in a wealth of experience, and that could be a good thing for the Steelers. But there's many who also question the process of how they signed him, considering the Steelers hadn't conducted in-person interviews with either Chris Schuler or Nate Scheelhaus, two names that were in the coaching hiring cycle who still remain unhired as far as head coaching positions. They'll stick with the Rams for another year. But they were two of the younger names that people wondered, hey, should the Steelers stick to that formula that has worked for them for the last 50 years? You go back to 1969, when you go to Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, all of them were coaches in their 30s who rose up as defensive assistants, were first-time head coaches for the Steelers, and all of them won Super Bowls for the Steelers. And that's where I think when you look at this process, this is completely the opposite. Mike McCarthy is 62 years old. He's been NFL team that he's been the head coach of. And he's an offensive-minded coach, and he's already said he's going to be calling the plays. And so it's a bit of a different process in how they've gone about it. They're still filling out the staff right now. They still haven't signed an offensive coordinator to work behind Mike McCarthy. I like Mike McCarthy as a coach. I think he's been a good coach over his years. But the thing that I worry about if I'm the Steelers or Steelers fans right now is I look at everywhere Mike McCarthy has gone, he's had an established quarterback or a high-ranking quarterback that he's been able to inherit. When he started at Green Bay, he had Brett Favre. They already had Aaron Rodgers ready to take over for Brett Favre. Then when he got ousted in Green Bay, he went right to Dallas. They already had Dak Prescott ready to go.
Right.
And, listen, all three of those quarterbacks performed at high levels under him, and he's coached a number one scoring offense in the NFL 4 times in his years as head coach. But the Steelers do not have that established, long-time franchise quarterback on this roster right now. And that, to me, is going to be the biggest challenge for Mike McCarthy. Can he be part of drafting and developing a quarterback that fits into a system that takes off for the Steelers? If he does, I think that would put another feather in his cap, putting him towards more of that Hall of Fame trajectory that all three of his predecessors have been on.
Right, exactly. I agree with you on that one. I'm hoping that for his offensive coordinator, I hope he brings in a pretty good name. I hear Scott Tolzien could be a possibility from the New Orleans Saints. Chris, let me get Smokin' Jim here to ask you a question, and I have a question for you, another one.
Sure.
Smokin' Jim, go ahead with your question for Chris.
Hey, Chris, 2 years ago, I said the Steelers should draft Cooper DeJean in his second year now, and he's first team All-Pro. Last year, I wanted either Jackson Dart or Scatterboo, and I think the Giants are happy with both of those. This year, the Pittsburgh Steelers should really add a wide receiver from Notre Dame, Fields. What's your feeling about Fields?
Well, I actually just did my first mock draft of the season, and I had them taking Fields in the 3rd round. I loved him. I was actually there in Mobile, Alabama, covering the Senior Bowl. He was undoubtedly the star of the Senior Bowl. He was making plays down the field, underneath passes. He showed good route running. He has great size, great athleticism. Also seems very humble. When I got a chance to talk to him in private for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see that video on the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's YouTube channel of my one-on-one with him. But I like him a lot, Smokin' Jim, and I think that he could be part of the answer here. But I also think the Steelers have done a good job these last few drafts of assembling their talent. As far as cornerback, Joey Porter Jr. has not allowed a touchdown since he became the Steelers starter back in 2023. Not a single time has a receiver scored a touchdown on him in any of his starts. And then you also have, guys like Derek Harmon last year who they brought in. And I know everyone's excited about Jackson Dart, but the bottom line is he quarterbacked the team that went 4-13. And Cam Scatabo was part of that team as well. And listen, I like the moxie of those guys, but I think the Steelers, what they've been recognizing is they've been trying to pick the guys that could maybe, if they turn out to be the superstar running back or the superstar quarterback, maybe they can lift them up. That's what they try to do with Kenny Pickett. That's what they try to do with Najee Harris. And that's nothing against those players specifically, but they needed to rebuild the trenches. That was the mistake that they made in the early 2020s. That's what they've been rectifying the last 3 years. The picks of Broderick Jones, Zach Frazier, Trey Faltano, Mason McCormick. All of those guys have rebuilt the offensive line. Last year, you saw them start to do that with the defensive line. Derek Harmon, Y.A. Black. I think that they're starting to form out and say, hey, we have to get better up front because that's what the Steelers, when they've been at their best, have been about. Dominant defensive line, dominant offensive line, control the line of scrimmage, let everything play out from there. I still think they could use maybe one more addition on the defensive line. It's a higher pick this year, or maybe one more addition on the offensive line as well, maybe in the middle rounds. But this could be the year where they do go get those skill players. Malachi Fields is one of them. I really like Makai Lemon out of USC. I think he might be, honestly, my favorite receiver of this class. But it would not shock me if the Steelers went and double dipped at wide receiver. I looked out there. They have 12 picks right now that they're projected to have for the NFL draft. The Steelers have never used all 12 picks in a 7-round draft since that started in 1994. The most that they've ever used was 11 in 1999. Next most was 10 in 2010. In that 2010 season, that's when they got Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown. So I see this as a year where they trade up in one of the earlier rounds to either get a really high pick in the first round or maybe get a second first-round pick so that they can maximize that value in those earlier rounds. But in that process, Jim, I see them double dipping at wide receiver, and I think they'd really like Malachi Fields being one of those 2 picks that they make there.
Okay, I have a list here of several different outlets that have mock drafts, Chris. Okay, now I'm Smokin' Jim and I each week here leading up to the draft, we're going to diagnose which one. Now, we're starting off today with ESPN. Okay. ESPN says of Avian Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. My co-host on my Saturday morning sports show, Brian Pettit, he covers Clemson. He told me that this kid is pretty decent, this Avian Terrell. But the wide receiver that all the other ones that I have listed here, they have the Steelers taking Denzel Boston out of Washington. There's about 5 outlets here that are saying that. So I just want to let everyone know that one as well. So I don't know much about this Denzel Boston, but they say that most of these outlets so far have said, but first we're going to start with ESPN, and they're saying Avian Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. All right. So, and then also, I haven't seen it. And quarterback, they also, some of these other outlets, I'm not going to say which ones, are saying that the Steelers are going after Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama as well. So, I mean, we have a bunch of different people here, but basically it's the same. Simpson and also Jordan Tyson, one of them has said from Arizona State, they also have down. So, those are some of the picks that the Steelers are projected to pick by some of the mock drafts. Lauren, I want to say hello to her. She's checking in. And Mickey Delaney, usual. Hello, Mickey Delaney is part of the show today. Chris, how much more time do you have? Because I know you have a tight schedule.
I got about 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes? Okay. I wanted to ask you about Frank Cignetti. It looks like Mike McCarthy wants to hire him to be an offensive assistant. What role would he play in this offensive scheme? I was a fan of Frank Cignetti when he worked with Dave Wannstedt, but then when he came back to work with Pat Narduzzi, we saw things fall apart, Phil Jakovic and all that other stuff. What's your thoughts on Frank Cignetti?
I think Frank has a great football mind. I think it didn't work out in the second year that he was with Pitt. I actually covered him back then when I was covering Pitt for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And I said this back then. I didn't think that Frank Cignetti was the problem. I thought that Frank was very much doing what he could with what was a rough situation in the quarterback room. They thought Phil Dracovic was going to be the hero of that team. Turned out he was just not it. He just his body was too beat up from the years that he played at Boston College and elsewhere. And so I didn't want to put that much on Frank, but what Frank does bring is he has a bevy of just knowledge and information and experience as a coach at all levels, but especially at in the NFL. This is a guy who, when you look at what he's brought to the table, he's coached Aaron Rodgers before. He's coached Eli Manning. He's worked with quarterbacks upon quarterbacks. He has tons of experience. He, like you said, he coached at Pitt back when they were really good in the late 2000s. But he bounced around the NFL as a quarterbacks coach. So what I see him bringing to the table, I don't think he's necessarily going to be, in the play caller position at all, because of course that's Mike McCarthy's. But if you're looking for a comparison as far as recent coaches, I look at like Mike Sullivan, the Steelers, and not the Penguins coach. The
Steelers former quarterbacks coach who was an acting offensive coordinator, and he's been around Eli Manning. I know that.
And so that's where I see Frank Cignetti fitting in, because Mike Sullivan, when he wasn't the quarterback coach, he was just a senior offensive assistant. That's who I see Frank Cignetti being. He's another pair of eyes in the room who can help Mike McCarthy say, "Hey, seeing this problem here, let's address."
How about an eye up in the booth that he could throw the red flag and not have to look at the scoreboard all the time? You know what I mean? Communication. I think we'll see some better communication here with Mike McCarthy too on the field. Time management, that kind of thing. There's a lot of those things over the years with Mike Tomlin there, Chris Carter. I think you'll agree that, didn't happen right, So, all right, everybody, Chris Carter with us from the Post-Gazette. We're getting ready to let him go. He has a tight schedule. Smokin' Jim, you have any further questions for Chris before he goes?
No, I don't want to hold Chris up, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. Very proud of you, Chris.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Chris Carter, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Come on to share with us about Mike McCarthy and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris, thank you. We'll have you come back on again, maybe as we work our way up to the draft. So, all right, have yourself a great one, Chris. Thank you. All right, Chris Carter from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Catch his podcasts in the postgazette.com. They have several podcasts on there as well. Our friend of the show, Ray Fittipaldo, and Noah Howes were also on some of them shows as well. All right. Also, hey, says Colden. Thank you, Colden, for being part of the show today. In the comments section as well. Also, mailbag, Ralph Williams, 737@gmail.com. We have I want to send some prayers out to Eden. She's a steady listener up in Alaska. She was recently involved in a accident on the Alaskan highway with her truck. They had to haul it out with a tow truck and everything. So could you please say some prayers for Eden, please? Steady listener up in Alaska and watcher of our programs. So I just want to let everyone know that as well, and our Alaskan audience up as well. All right, Smokin' Jim, let me ask you this: your thoughts on what Chris had to say, and let's go into some of these coaches that Mike McCarthy's getting ready to hire. What are your thoughts on this?
I tell you what, man, Chris Carter's an expert, man. He studies his stuff, man. He can communicate it. Him and Jim Wetzel is two of the best Pittsburgh's ever had. I will rate them number 2 and number 3, close in terms of their evaluation of the draft and whatnot. Of course, me being number 1. But hey, listen, man. I agree. My philosophy's never going to change, because it was a philosophy I inherited from Chuck Noll.
Right.
Take the best available athlete, man. All this trying. Yeah, you took Broderick Jones. What do you got?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they keep saying that.
I call him Bumrick Jones.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Take the best available athlete, man. Cooper DeJean in the second year is first team All-Pro, not All-Pro, not mentioned pro. First team All-Pro in the second year. First white guy to do it since 1972 when Pat Fisher made the Pro Bowl, man. And then, yeah, nobody can win with the Giants, especially when the Giants was winning pretty good until Scatterboo went out.
Yeah, exactly.
Scatterboo
Yeah.
and Jackson Dart, man. Jackson
Yes.
Dart looked like Bo Nix in his first year. He led the team. The team was excited to rally behind him. He didn't get to play till late in the season.
Right.
You know, so hey, listen, man. You're looking for you. You need a franchise quarterback, and the Pittsburgh don't have a future franchise quarterback right now. And this is a bad draft for quarterback.
Yeah, it's not very good. Eli didn't, or not Eli, Arch didn't come out. And then also that kid from Oregon, he went back too. So, he was supposed to be in the draft as well. Checking in with us
There's
here.
too much money. There's too much money in college
NIL.
football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why would you come out?
That's right. That's right. Good afternoon, Jeremy Ballrick, friend of the show, checking in. Jeremy has the kneecap biting, covers the Detroit Lions and he has his own shows on 11 a.m. or I'm sorry, noontime on his YouTube channel. Check it out. Also, like and subscribe to all of our YouTube channels for the Sports Nuts Network. That includes Tiger Stripes Media with Brian Pettit, and also with Pensman Sports. Also, we all work together. On Saturdays, we have the Saturday Sports Show at 10 a.m. right here on our social media platforms and the Sports Nuts Network and our radio station platforms. Coming up at 5 o'clock tonight is today is the Wrestle Talk Show. Don't forget about that as well. I got to tell you, Smokin' Jim, we got a lot to talk about, man. Some stuff going on at WWE will make your head spin. I mean, it's one thing after another here. This Royal Rumble was just crazy this week. And, all right, Jeremy Ballrick says Dante Moore knew he'd get picked by the Jets, and he said he'd rather go fight for a starting spot with the Ducks versus Dylan Raiola. You know what? Dylan Riola's will be a good quarterback. He comes from that Raiola blood family. Dominic Raiola and all them guys. Remember them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he comes from that family. So that's a fighting family, man. And they played offensive line too. So I mean, it wasn't like they didn't play a prominent position like that. But Smokin' Jim, some of the assistant coaches Mike McCarthy's hired so far. He still hasn't hired his offensive coordinator. Rumor has it's going to be Scott Tolzien, the quarterbacks coach in New Orleans. He rehired Tom Arth. I actually thought Tom Arth was supposed to, when the season was over, he was supposed to take a job somewhere else in the college or in the high school ranks, but I guess he decided to stay. The running backs coach is Ramon Shiong. Wide receivers coach is Adam Henry. And then they still don't have a tight ends coach yet, but they're working on somebody. Offensive line coach, they got James Campen. I hear he's pretty decent. We'll see what happens there. And by the way, today, Smokin' Jim, I wanted to let you know that Matt Nagy was hired today to be the offensive coordinator. And I believe, hang on a minute. Oh, it's with the Giants. He's going to be working with Jackson Dart up at the Giants organization. He got hired today. Matt Nagy, who's making the move from Kansas City. He was the offensive coordinator under hold on a second here, under Andy Reid. So because Jeremy says because the NCAA declined him another year of eligibility, that was another thing too about Moore from Oregon. So there you go with that. All right. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts on some more of what Chris had to say. Steelers with Mike McCarthy. We know he's going to get some experienced coaches in here. We're not going to see a bunch of yes men. We're going to see some guys who have been around the league, college, or wherever that are really good at coaching. And I like what I see here so far. We'll see what happens when the season gets started, what's going to happen here with the Steelers. I think they're going to get better. And he brings Matt Nagy to the Giants, says Jeremy. He brings the Tecmo Bowl playbook to New York. So there you go. Tecmo Bowl, more or less. All right, so Jeremy chiming in here from kneecap biting in the Detroit Lions as well. All right, Smokin' Jim, go ahead. Your thoughts on some more thoughts on the Steelers and some of these coaches that they're about to hire. Go ahead.
Always, everybody knows you're the booking machine, but I tell everybody that there's nobody that knows more about the coaches, assistants, head coaches from college football right through the NFL, man. You are the expert on that. Hey, listen, I had all the confidence in the world that Mike McCarthy would put together a staff. He got the blueprint already. Hey, listen, some people say, hey, you need to do this. You can't hire the same old guys. You know what I mean? Hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? If you look at Kurt Signetti's staff and how in the world he won at Indiana is almost impossible. Nobody's seen that coming. He got pretty much the same coaches he always had. You know what I mean?
Right.
They understand what you're trying to do. They understand the blueprint. They understand
The foundation of what you want to do.
Man.
Yeah, they understand all that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the type of people you want
commitment.
around you. You don't want,
Yeah.
Again, I got nothing against Mike Tomlin, but you know what? I beat him up a lot. But one thing I was very upset about was these yes men coaches that he brought in. He didn't bring in any guys that were really experienced, that were smarter than he was. He didn't like that idea. But I will give him Mike McCarthy credit. He is bringing in a different strength and conditioning coach, which means you won't see the quarterback like Russell Wilson pulling a sled. So there you go. Remember
that was good. I forgot about that.
Remember we talked about the sled? Yeah,
I forgot all about
Russell Wilson
that.
got
That was
hurt
good.
because he was pulling a sled that he probably shouldn't have been pulling. You know what I mean? Who makes a quarterback pull a sled? Man. You know what I mean? Come on. So yeah. Or I'm gonna use the term that someone would say, who does that? You know what I mean? So but anyway, yeah, so we'll see what the Steelers are going to do. The draft's coming up. We'll see who they draft. I already gave you ESPN's mock draft. Next week, we will have next week, I will give you who will be who is in the mock draft for the NFL.com and Lance Zierlein, Larry Zierlein's kid. We'll see what he has to say and what his mock draft is, number one pick so far for the Steelers. Things could change, Smokin' Jim. They always do. They come up with these earlier things, and then they go later on. Speaking of coaching searches, and we talk about these younger coaches, Chris Shula, I found out was a bad interview. That other kid, that pass game coordinator for L.A., they said he knocked their socks off with the Steelers. But I still think that this was a good pick. And now I'm hearing Clint Kubiak could possibly be going to the Las Vegas Raiders after the Super Bowl, and Arizona is prepared to hire somebody here. They're getting ready to hire Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike. They're getting ready to put him in as head coach. So everybody will have their head coaches real soon here as well. And all right, we have our next guest here, Jason Mackey from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and 93.7 The Fan. He does the night shift there at 93.7 The Fan. I usually don't mention them here, Jason, but I will today because I know that's what you do with them. So, But anyway, Jason's here. We're going to talk about the Pirates a little bit and some other things. Jason, how are you today? Welcome.
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me, Ralph. Good to talk to you.
Oh, anytime. It's been a while. So yep. I just want to touch some base with you. I understand now you're covering the Pirates for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Say hello to Smokin' Jim. He's on the phone here. Smokin' Jim, my co-host. Say hello to Jason Mackey.
My man Jason, what's up, brother?
Not too much. Not too much. Looking forward to going to Florida.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Jason, tell us a little bit about the Pirates this year. And is McCutchen going to get a contract here? I hear they're sitting down. There's supposed to be a meeting this week with Bob Nutting or something. Is he going to get a contract? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? What's going to happen with McCutchen here?
I think he ultimately comes back. There's been a whole bunch of fuss over this stuff, and the wind's blown different directions. I've felt different ways about it. You get different vibes being around the team. I think the way this has gone, and McCutchen saying what he said on Twitter. Everybody's seen it by now. He's obviously been kind of upset at how he's been treated. I think the Pirates realize what's at stake here, how they could look. I think if you go and get Marcell Ozuna or anybody else you're going to get out on the free agent market, it's just not worth not bringing back McCutchen and wearing that. There's better ways to improve the team. I think you have just a retirement year with Kutch and celebrate the heck out of who he's been.
Right.
Yeah. So if I was going to bet one way or the other, that's what I would do.
I see. Let me ask you one question here, and I'll have Smokin' Jim ask you a question. What's the team look like this year? Is it a better upgrade from last year? And now we got Don Kelly for a whole season. What's happening here?
Yeah, a lot of that. The Don Kelly aspect, I just filed a story for our preview section on Sunday talking about just what's at stake for Donnie, how much guys really love playing for him. Brian Reynolds had a quote in there that just stands out to me, that it feels like you're talking to a peer, but in a good way. Like Donnie Kelly just understands what these guys go through. He gets it. He's got a great personality, obviously loves the game, knows the game, that sort of fun stuff. But things look a lot better. They have to be able to hit. Ryan O'Hearn's going to improve the team. Brandon Lau is going to improve the team. They shouldn't be done. They have several moves to make still. You need production from Jared Triolo and Henry Davis. Obviously, we haven't seen these guys, swing. We're just going based on what we saw last season. But there's a much greater amount of optimism right now, even when we talk about guys bouncing back, Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz. Obviously, those are going to be important parts. This should be a pitching heavy team that scores enough runs to be competitive. They're going to have a pretty good bullpen. And if they stay healthy, I do think they have a chance.
Yeah, I believe that to be the case. I like what I see so far this year. But we all know, that they've managed to soil the bed at times, even with the talent that they have. But I think Don Kelly's going to be a good manager. And I think now that he's got a full season to be able to dissect and do all this stuff, I believe Pirates might not be too bad. You know what? I would be satisfied with 500 just so they at least get there. You know what I mean? With what they have, because based on what we've seen over the years and the heartache we've had to put up with, for all these years since 1979. All right. Smokin' Jim, you have any questions for Jason?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well then, all right, Jason, the pitching staff you were just talking about, what's the starting pitching looking like? I know Skeens and Jared Jones and a few other guys. Is Chandler going to finally be up here, or what are they doing with Chandler and all that stuff? What's going on?
Yeah, Bubba will be up here. Your opening day rotation probably looks like this: Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Bubba Chandler, Braxton Ashcraft. Jared Jones won't be back, I'd say, until June, maybe optimistically May. And they're going to add a fifth starter, maybe a veteran lefty, Jose Quintana, Tyler Anderson. They're two types that the Pirates have talked to.
I like Tyler Anderson. Yeah,
I'm good with either one, man.
Brought him there. Yeah, if they brought him back, that would be nice.
Patrick Corbin is a guy, as odd as it sounds. He was a little bit better last year. He fits their ballpark. So, I mean, again, I would prefer Quintana or Anderson. Don't get me wrong, but they'll add one of those guys. And, if you want me to go to the bullpen, you're probably going to start with Dennis Santana. Isaac Matson, Gregory Soto, Kyle Nicholas going to be in there in some form or fashion.
Kyle Nicholas. Oh, yeah. I wanted him gone since that debacle in Chicago when he walked all those guys.
I know.
I wanted him out, and it's just.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to be gone, man. I actually think he can be very good.
Keep on sticking with him.
He throws 99 with 2 breaking balls.
Yeah,
really good ones.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I want to hear him out and see if he can figure it out. Carmen Majinski's going to be in there somewhere. Mason Montgomery's a lefty who throws 100. He's really attractive. If these guys can figure it out, Johan Ramirez has put up some good numbers. He's been inconsistent as all heck, but if they can figure it out, they should have a greater amount of pitching depth.
Yeah, exactly. It's the question on how Don Kelly works his pitchers in and out. You know what I mean? Starters and innings and things like that. You know what I mean? I didn't like what Sheldon did at times. He would have guys come in for 2 innings, or what they call them, bullpen days or something. Have somebody come in for 2 innings.
Bullpen day and have an opener. I think Donnie might still do that. I mean, that's a strategy. I get that.
Exactly. So Yeah,
It's dumb if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I like to see the starters kind of go deeper, like into 5 or 6 innings. That way, you don't tire your bullpen out, that kind of thing. So we'll see how he manages his pitching. What about the catcher situation? I know Bart's back. Who else are they bringing in, or who else do they have other than Bart? I know who's the other one, Gonzalez or something, or
Andy Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, yeah, Andy Rodriguez.
You're looking at Henry Davis 1, Joey Bart 2, Andy Rodriguez and Rafael Flores are the 2. As of now, they would start with AAA. It wouldn't surprise me if they move Joey Bart. He has trade value. They need a third baseman that could align with the trade to ship him out and get somebody back. If that happens, maybe they sign a veteran backup like a Jason DeLay, Andrew Knapp type. Or maybe they just roll with
delay. Wow, that's a name.
I just mean that type, like a defense first.
Oh yeah,
singles hitting, 230 average, nothing sexy, but can catch a good game. Get him for a league minimum. Like that type. But Henry Davis is going to be your guy. Henry Davis is the guy to focus on. I mean, he's going to catch Skeens, Keller, Bubba, maybe Ashcraft too. He's come along nicely defensively. Just has to hit. I mean, his offensive stuff to this point hasn't been good enough. But
wow, that's crazy.
He's a 1-1 pick, works his tail off. Like a lot of guys, they're going to stand by him, and they should. They should.
Right, exactly.
Or Davis, he's done well enough defensively. Guys like throwing to him. He has value, but yeah, they need him to hit.
Oh yeah, they do absolutely. Spring training starts. Pitchers and catchers report next week? Is that it?
Yeah. So the first workout for pitchers and catchers is the 11th. A few of the guys that are participating in the World Baseball Classic will be there on the 9th, but officially the 11th.
I see. Okay. I was just curious to see. I knew they got started sooner or later here. At least you get to enjoy the warm Florida weather, and unlike this cold Arctic stuff that's going on around here.
You're telling me.
It's crazy. Oh, absolutely. I know what you mean. So it's a crazy situation. What about the infield? I know, we need a third baseman. Is Triola going to get his hitting up to speed? Because I know that was one of his major problems over, last year. He wasn't even hitting his weight from what I saw there for a minute. But what's going on with him?
I sure hope so. He's going to play a pretty good amount. And whether it's a shortstop or third base, like I expect to see Jared Triolo in the lineup a lot of days. Can he continue what he did over the last 2 months? It's anybody's guess. He made a nice mechanical adjustment, looked like a different player, got into some power, was OPSing, I think, about 770, somewhere in that range. That'll work. I like Jared Triolo being a part of this team. I worry about him being the primary source of offense on the left side of the infield. I think you got to do better than that. Or if you don't add a third baseman, you try to extend Connor Griffin. But if he's your bounce around guy, if he's the 25th, 26th man on the roster and you're just using him to plug holes for his defense, that's great. I'm fine with that. Yeah, he needs to hit the way he did down the stretch. There was additional confidence. He was a little bit more upright, got through his hands faster. He needs to continue that. And I agree with you. The light hitting, singles hitting Jared Triolo, that's going to be tough in a lineup like this.
It is. It is going to be tough. And I missed the defense of Key Brian Hayes, but I don't miss the fact that he was injured a lot with that bad back situation. And his hitting was when he was in the lineup, he hit pretty decent. But I think we're going to miss that a little bit. But you know what? We can always make up for it some other way. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it depends on who they get. I mean, I still think they're going to trade for a third baseman. I wish they would have signed Eugenio Suarez. I understand why they didn't. I don't understand why they didn't. I should say I'm not surprised that they didn't.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
that's what I mean by that. But like Brett Beatty's out there, Mark Vientos is out there. I've heard they're not terribly, like Alec Boehm is out there, but I don't think that's a live conversation. The two Mets guys a little bit more likely. Who else is out there? Isak Paredes is somebody who would fit from the Astros. Josh Jung from the Rangers, although I don't hear much on that these days either. But they'll get somebody.
I see. Smokin' Jim, any questions for Jason?
No, great job, Jason, man. Great knowledge, man.
All right.
Always.
All right, real quick here, and then we'll let you go. What's going on with the outfield? Sawinski going to be back? What's going on with him and some other guys here? What's going on other than Reynolds?
I don't know about Sawinski. I mean, as of now, he's at least has a shot. But Brian Reynolds is going to play every day. O'Neal Cruz is going to play every day. Ryan O'Hearn's going to play somewhere every day. He's going to play some in the outfield, maybe DH some, maybe some first base some. My own opinion, they need to get Jake Mangum in there more, and I think they're going to. I mean, this is a guy hit almost 300 last year for the Rays. He runs extremely well, nearly stole 30 bags. Like, you get somebody in this lineup who's going to do that for you, you got to play him. And he's going to be a borderline Gold Glover. He was a very good defensive left fielder. So I'm expecting that to be the lineup, more often than not. You're going to have a non-traditional fourth outfielder with O'Hearn, and maybe you carry another one. Maybe you carry Sawinski. Joe Stinson Garcia is the guy they added the password. They added him for Johan Oviedo this offseason. He needs to play. And if he's not going to be in your lineup every day, he's probably not at this point. I think he has to be in AAA. I expect him to start there. Is Sawinski going to go anywhere as a fourth outfielder? Probably not, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's on the team.
Yeah, they might have to have him on the team in order, for some stability there or whatever until they get something straightened out here with that. But anyway, real quick while I have you, Jason, and we'll let you go. Mike McCarthy, new Steeler head coach. Your thoughts on Mike McCarthy? Go ahead.
I don't hate it. I'm one of the few in the city.
I don't either. I want it. Smokin Jim called it. Smokin Jim said on this program and on the Sports Corner radio show on 2 to 3 p.m. on Saturday on 1250 The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial. He said it, and I quote, Mike McCarthy. I agree. I wanted McCarthy or Flores, but I'll take McCarthy, even though Flores didn't get hired.
They need to score more points. They need to figure out the quarterback situation. It's a short-term thing. I mean, I don't go into this thinking Mike McCarthy's going to coach for 19 years. I sure as heck hope not. If it stinks in 4 years, they better move on.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it, man. He knows how to run a program. You got a veteran team. You want to make a run at it? Let's see.
Yeah, I like what I see so far. We'll see what happens. Jason, while I have you, your favorite, I came on your show, your favorite Tallmanism. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
I came on with the we got caught with our slip showing when I was on.
Yeah, that was good. That was
good.
My favorite one might be the most recent.
Go ahead.
If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
My uncle, yeah.
I mean, I can't watch that.
Everybody thinks that way. Yeah, I know. No, the one that I've been watching some of these YouTube videos from some people. They're saying the squashing of the grapes and the wine. They're saying the players are the ones that said they like that one.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Got red paint your barn red, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to go back into the laboratory.
Yeah.
But the best one of them all, though, was when he walked off the podium when Brooke Pryor asked him about his contract, and he he didn't say a word. He just walked right off the podium, and I laughed so hard it was just unbelievable. I said, "Oh my gosh." I kind of said that's what she gets for asking that question.
No, that was a totally fair question. She's doing her job.
I know, but I mean, it was funny though the way he just she said, "What's going on with your contract?" And he was like, he just got up and walked right off. That's it. Jason, thanks for being part of the program, man. It's been a while, but we'll have you back on again another time. But thank you, Jason Mackey from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, 93.7 The Fan as well. Have yourself a great one. And Smokin, Jim, anything you want to add here or say anything before Jason leaves?
Hey, and anytime me and Jason agrees, that must mean McCarthy's going to take us to the Super Bowl, right?
Yes. He's got 5 years, so we'll see. All right, Jason.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
Thank you. All right. That was Jason Mackey, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, breaking down what's going on with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Smokin, Jim, your thoughts on what Jason had to add?
The guy's absolute. I tell you, booking machine. You book nothing but experts, man. He knows the Pirates inside out, man. Makes you enthusiastic about the season, and I just hope the Pirates can live up to his words.
Yeah, exactly. Because this year Bob Nutting actually went out and spent some money and got some guys. So I mean, and we didn't get the bottom of the barrel. We actually got a little bit like in the center, you know what I mean, which is more than the bottom of the barrel. I'll take the center any day, the center of the list, rather than the bottom of the barrel, because we've had some bottom of the barrel free agents that has just been really brutal. Tommy Pham, I mean, come on, you know what I mean? I mean, and Ben Sherrington, I think this year with Don Kelly being full-time manager, Ben Sherrington, if this team does well this year, he'll save his job. If they don't do well this year, I think he goes. I thought he was going to go after last year because of the bad season and firing of Sheldon, but I think they fired Sheldon, and then now Sheldon's going to show us what he's made of. He is now the new manager of the Minnesota Twins. So let's see what he does elsewhere. Was it the players or was it him? That's what you got to look at here. When a manager moves or a coach moves on to another job, let me give you an example. Atlanta now has Kevin Stefanski. He coached in Cleveland. Can Stefanski coach better in Atlanta? He's bringing in some guys, and I'm going to use Tomlin thing here. Guys. He brought in some guys that, might be a little bit better off than what he is. And then the Browns have hired Todd Monken to be their head coach. And, we'll see where he goes, former offensive coordinator of the Ravens. Ravens have hired, and then the Ravens have a new coach. So everybody out here, all the coaching vacancies are pretty much full, except for the Las Vegas Raiders have made it official, but they said it's Clint Kubiak. So let's.
What do you think of the staff that the Ravens put together, man?
I think it's okay. I mean, I don't see how they could do no wrong. I mean, Harbaugh's voice, I think, was getting a little rough there, and there was some infighting between him and Lamar Jackson, I believe, and I think some of the players revolted. I'm not real sure, but I mean, I do know. So let me see here. Oh, Joe Lombardi. Wow, they added him to the staff, the Ravens. And Anthony Weaver is the defensive coordinator. I wanted him with the Steelers. I thought McCarthy should have hired him over Patrick Graham, because I think Weaver's a better defensive coordinator, but that's just my opinion, because Graham's been to several games.
I agree.
And I'm not trying to be ignorant to the fact of the McCarthy bandwagon here, but I'm not sold on Patrick Graham. I mean, I'm really not. He has to show me something, because he's been with several teams, and the teams that he's been with, their defense really hasn't been that great. And so I want to see something out of him. And I'm sure that if he stinks up the joint, McCarthy will waste no time getting rid of him. You know what I mean? But you got Anthony Weaver there, and Eddie Faulkner, former Steeler running back coach and co-offensive coordinator at one point, has joined the Ravens staff. So, Baltimore's going to put together a really good staff there. I think they're going to be okay. I think the Steelers, of all the teams in the AFC North, Smokin, Jim, have the best chance of winning it again, because, Cleveland's got Todd Monken. We don't know what to expect from him. The Ravens, they're sort of rebuilding as well. And Cincinnati, Zach Taylor, he's hanging on by a thread. He had to fire all his assistants, and he don't want to fire them. And they told him, if you don't fire them, we're firing you. So he fired them. And, I guess he's got one more season to show us something. So we'll see. I mean, Cincinnati has had a bad defense. They've had bad offensive lines. We saw that in the Super Bowl against the Rams. The Rams ate them alive in the Super Bowl. And their offensive line has been bad. Burrows is hurt every other time. Ladarius Mims is a bum, and I'm glad the Steelers didn't draft him. Yes, he
is. He's a bum.
Jesus, he a bum. And he was on several mock drafts. I mean, and then the Steelers ended up drafting Bumrick Jones, but I mean, we'll see where that goes. And I think the AFC North is. I think the Steelers have an opportunity with Mike McCarthy to take it this year. Now, if they would have, go ahead.
How are you going to celebrate? How are you going to celebrate number 7?
I don't know. I'll celebrate it like I always do. When my first wife was alive, we always had a Super Bowl party. And when my wife was alive and I was married to my first wife, we were able to watch 3 Super Bowls and we had 3 parties. The 95 one with Dallas, you know.
I'm talking about New England winning number 7. How you want to celebrate that? You celebrating that one?
No, I'm not celebrating that one. I want Seattle.
Because I think New England's going to pull the upset.
I don't think so. I think Seattle got a really good football team. They got an aggressive defense. Sam Darnold's on a roll, although he's hurt a little bit. He's got an injury, but he's on a roll. And I think with their but I'll tell you what, though, I would be suspect if Seattle was to lose this game because of bad play calling by Clint Kubiak, and you wonder if you're a Las Vegas Raiders fan, if you want Clint Kubiak as your head coach, if you're going to screw up the Super Bowl. I mean, you think about that for a second.
Good point. Good point.
You think about that for a minute. Do you want a guy like that screws up the biggest game of your life, okay, as to be your head coach? That's going to be the question. And, I'm interested to see what Mike Vrabel's going to bring. That's what I'm interested to see, with his defense.
Well, I got 2 words for you.
What's that?
Drake May.
Yeah.
MVP, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there for the Steelers. They didn't take him either. He was there. I think he was there. The Steelers didn't take him. So I think he was last year's draft, right? Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was good in North Carolina. He did a really good job there. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens there as well. All right, real quick here, Smokin' Jim. We got about 3 more minutes left in the show here before we got to get ready for Wrestle Talk coming up at 5 o'clock. Men's basketball looking really awful. Jeff Capel and the gang losing games left and right here. I'm surprised he's not gone yet. I really wish Alan Green would pull the trigger here on somebody. I thought Narduzzi was going to be gone, but obviously that didn't happen. And I think Narduzzi saved his job by going 8-4 this year, despite the fact they lost the bowl game. But I think he saved his job. But anyway, I don't know what's going on over there. And now they want to cut back the seating in the Acrisure Stadium. It makes sense. I brought up the fact that when I worked at Acrisure Stadium, ESPN, the game was on ESPN that night. They were playing the South Florida Bulls when it was the old Big East, and they came down and handed us tickets they told us that they were giving tickets out to the people in the upper bowls and bringing them down so that it would look better for TV. And it's pretty sad that when Pitt's on TV, you got to look at nobody in the stadium. So I don't blame Pitt for doing what they're doing football-wise with Acrisure Stadium. Your thoughts on both?
Hey, I agree with you. I thought Capel was gone many times. He must have some pictures on somebody, but you talking about life is about the decisions that you make. And he made a bad decision leaving Duke to come to Pitt. Yeah. And he was in over his head. And I never thought Narduzzi would get fired. This guy just got 9 lives. He'll probably end up getting he got a contract at 2030 or whatever.
Yeah, 2031, I believe it is. Yeah, 2031. And I hear the buyout's so high. I hear the alum can't afford it. So that's what I heard. So
it's just unbelievable to me. Pitt football's an embarrassment. You got a alumni base that is huge. If people can get to Penn State and sell out 110,000 for every home game, no matter who they play, Pitt should be able to get 60,000 in there. They make all these excuses for the students. But the students have no problem getting to the South Side every Saturday night. No,
exactly. Yeah.
And every bus, there's 100 buses that run from Oakland to downtown Pittsburgh, and all you got to do is walk across the bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like it's I mean,
or take one of their school bus shuttles that they have.
Yeah,
because they have several school bus shuttles that'll take you there for free right to the stadium. So I mean,
every port authority coming through Oakland is going to downtown, and these
Yeah.
kids got more excuses not to get over there.
I don't think it's the kids, more or less. I don't believe that. I believe they show up. You see the student section shows up. It's not them. I think it's the other alum, the older folks that are used to the pit stadiums, and they're still griping about an on-campus facility and all that stuff like that. And I'll say this to those who complain, and I got a comment here for you, Smokin' Jim. Mickey Delaney says, Jim said, did you hit your head? Did you say that the Pats will win on Sunday? That's what Mickey Delaney says. So,
yeah, bet on it, Mickey. Bet on it, baby.
Yeah. So anyway, as I mentioned before, where are you going to park? Tell me something. You want it in Oakland? I was told they looked at the old J&L plant down in Hazelwood. Before they put the green up down there, they looked at putting the stadium down that way. 2nd Avenue by the Hot Metal Bridge, they looked at a couple sites down that way. They looked at the south side. They looked all over the place. Where are you going to park your car in Oakland? All right. I used to park when I was younger with my grandfather. We used to go to all the games. We would park at the old Dairy Queen down there on Center Avenue and walk up. That's how we always did it. So, I mean, where are you going to park your car? I mean, and that's my question to you. And I would rather sit in regular, nice, soft, comfortable seats and sit on bleachers. I mean, I'd rather go in nice, warm bathrooms than them cold bathrooms and the crowded bathrooms they had at the old Pitt Stadium. I was there several times. I mean, I worked there back when I was in the late '80s, so I'd been there, so I know exactly what it's like. And if you want that kind of atmosphere, that's up to you. So
I know I'm gonna make Claudio mad, and some other people mad, and I love Claudio, you know that.
Right.
But there is room for a stadium on campus.
Yeah, there is.
They got one of the most beautiful baseball fields you ever want to see.
I saw that, yeah.
And that should be a football field.
It looks like PNC Park.
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I mean, I'm sorry, baseball would have to go to Point Park or somewhere to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm turning that into a football only stadium, and no disrespect to baseball, but
and they have plenty of room
never
up there
heard nobody
for that.
Yeah, I've never heard it. And right across the street is plenty of parking over there.
Yeah.
You can turn that practice field into a parking lot, and
that
that's
cost
what I
center
would
was
do
a
if you
waste. That cost center they put up there, that was a waste. I mean, and they got that other domed thing up there. I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? That white dome up there.
Yeah.
So
I got to ride through there sometime. I haven't rode through there in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, they just, they, like you said, they make a lot of excuses for that stuff. Smokin' Jim, final thoughts before we wrap it up and get ready for Wrestle Talk.
Man, two great guests, man. Chris Carter and Jason Mackey, the Big Mac Attack, man. They did a great job, man. The booking machine is the best. Not only is he best at booking guests, he knows all the coaches and assistant coaches in NFL and college football.
That's it. You got it. You're exactly correct on that one. And but we'll see what happens this year. College football is going to be interesting. It just wrapped up a few weeks back with the national championship game, and then it also the NFL season's pretty much wrapped up after the Super Bowl. But the NFL never wraps up. It's a 365, 24/7 kind of thing. Coaching changes, players moving around, all kinds of stuff going on. Even off-season workouts they talk about. It's a whole lot of everything there, and we'll see what happens. Smokin' Jim, your thoughts real quick on the Hall of Fame inductions for this year. What do you think?
Well, sometimes you got to pay the price, man. Roger Goodell swept this Spygate and all that under the rug. So Kraft and Belichick didn't get in. I'm sure they'll get in eventually. But sometimes you got to pay a price, even if it's a small price, man, and not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I didn't have no problem with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't hear who else got in. Who else got in?
haven't checked the list really, because I'm frustrated that Hines Ward hasn't gotten in yet, and so we'll see.
Right.
I'm very frustrated that he hasn't gotten in yet, and I've had this argument with some of our national pundits, more or less, that have said, Hines Ward, he was a nasty blocking wide receiver who really didn't catch much and just blah blah blah. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? I just don't. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame. He has 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, he is.
So
Super Bowl MVP.
That's right.
Super Bowl MVP
That's
as
right.
well.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear it. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and so, and there's some people that probably shouldn't be in there that are in there. So I mean, and guys who hadn't played a long time, didn't do a whole lot. Hines Ward's done more than they have, and so we'll see. All right. Thank you, Smokin' Jim Frazier. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have Wrestle Talk here on our radio affiliates, and also we'll be back in a few moments with Wrestle Talk. We got a lot to talk about, so stay tuned. I'm Ralph Williams for Smokin' Jim Frazier. Have yourself a great one. Until next Tuesday, have yourself a good one. Please be safe and stay warm.